Good morning, I'm Carl with the Honda Public Library. This Sunday is Easter, and so today I'm going to be answering 5 questions about the holiday on this segment of Good Friday Facts and Fun. Question 1. Why is Easter sometimes in March? Easter, of course, began as the celebration of Christ's death and resurrection. But unlike the celebration of Christ's birth, which is the same date every year, the date of Easter is different each year, sometimes not even happening in the same month. The reason for this is that Easter is actually calculated using an ancient system that takes into account the seasons and the phases of the moon. The vernal equinox marks the first day of spring. The word equinox comes from Latin aeque, meaning equal, and nox, meaning night. This is because during the equinox, day and night are both the same length, 12 hours. The date of the vernal equinox floats around a little bit and changes every year. This year it happened on the 19th of March. To avoid Easter floating around even more than it already does, the Catholic Church officially set the beginning of spring as March 21st, regardless of when the equinox actually happens. After the equinox, you then have to wait for the moon to be full. The first full moon of spring is also called the Paschal moon, or Passover moon. The reason that the phases of the moon are important is that at the time of the resurrection, the early Christians still used the Hebrew calendar, which is a lunisolar calendar. Like our calendar, the Hebrew calendar has 12 months, but unlike our calendar, these months follow the phases of the moon exactly. Each month starts with a new moon and lasts until the next, for a total of 354 days in a year. This, of course, gets out of sync with the solar year pretty fast. But rather than adding leap days, every few years a leap month will be added to get the calendar back in sync with the seasons. This year, the Paschal moon happened on Monday, March 25th. The next Sunday after that is March 31st, and that is why Easter is the time that it is this year. Question number 2. Why eggs? The practice of decorating eggs goes back way before Easter. The earliest archaeological evidence of decorated ostrich eggs found in South Africa dates back 60,000 years. In ancient Egypt, eggs had already come to symbolize death and rebirth, and this would likely have influenced early Christian traditions. Dyeing eggs is first attested in the 1600s, with red dye used to represent the blood of Christ. But theology aside, there's also a very practical side to eggs on Easter. The consumption of eggs is restricted during Lent, but hens, of course, would keep laying, so there would be a surplus of eggs when it came time for Easter. It was a logical next step to use these surplus eggs in the festival. And that takes us to our next question. Question 3. Why baskets on Easter? In their original religious connotation, Easter baskets were used to present one with a bunch of items that one had given up for Lent, as a congratulations, you made it the whole way through kind of thing. In Eastern Christianity, in addition to eggs, the basket also contains meat items. Western Christianity typically saves a lack of meat consumption for Fridays only, and instead emphasizes giving up pleasures or vices for the duration of Lent. That's why Easter baskets here tend to be filled with sweets and treats rather than meat. Marshmallows and chocolates are especially common. I'm not that much of a sweet tooth, so I honestly think we should normalize ham and sausage in Easter baskets instead of candy. I would like that. Question number 4. Do bunnies lay eggs? No. Question 5. Why is the Easter bunny giving out eggs? Long before Easter, rabbits had been associated with springtime and fertility. They not only have a very short gestation period, sometimes less than a month, but can also undergo a process called superfetation, meaning they can become pregnant with a second litter while already pregnant with a first. The ancient Greeks and Romans, seeing how quickly they reproduced, assumed that they were able to give birth to young without a mate, and early Christians connected this to the Virgin Mary. The first reference to a bunny giving out eggs is in 1682 in the writings of German physician and botanist George Frank von Frankenau. This incarnation of the Easter bunny was called the Osterhase, or Easter hare. In German Lutheranism, the Osterhase played a similar role to Santa, judging if children had been obedient and only then giving them treats. It's debatable if the modern Easter bunny is supposed to lay the eggs or just bring the eggs from somewhere else, but the Osterhase was absolutely described not only as laying eggs, but laying brightly colored eggs in basket-shaped nests. Osterhase was one of the many pieces of culture that German immigrants brought to the United States, and now the Easter bunny is established firmly in the United States cultural canon. However you all celebrate, I hope that you all have a good weekend, stay safe, and I'll see you next month for our next chapter of Friday Facts and Fun.